few days back, I played a set for Yard Club Toronto. I'll hopefully be playing another one, so check them out. I'll put the link in the description. And here's what we're working on today. So originally it started off sounding like this. So when I went back to rehash the idea, I made sure I kept what I like, which was generally the drums. I just felt that it needed some editing. So let's take a listen to what our new drums sound like. And so how I started off was with this loop from the count. And one thing great about this hi-hat sample is that it's actually delayed, as we've talked about in previous videos. And personally, I never really like to use a sample just flat, so I make a bunch of cuts and edits. Along with a sidechain, an EQ, and some stereo imaging. And of course, you know that I'm going to use a bunch of drum fills to supplement the percussion. And although in previous tracks I've used a lot of this 4 on the floor type pattern for the kick, but this time necessarily the bounce doesn't come from the kick rather than the percussion and the instruments themselves. And there's always opportunities to add familiar sounds, so here's a Flexitone one shot, which gives that GTA San Andreas West Coast type feel. And here I'm adding some shakers and some open hats that sound quite grimy, which I personally like. Now for the claps, I used 3 separate claps to make them quite wide and unique. And I used Ableton track delay, of course, to make the claps come early. I also delayed each individual clap from each other so it actually sounds much thicker. And a few days ago I bought some shakers and percussion instruments on Amazon, so I recorded one of the egg shakers to add in the background, and some extra percussion elements. And here are some wind chimes as some background ambience. Moving on to the melodic section, the original harp strum sample was in B major, so I sort of stuck to that key. The first thing I did to expand on my original idea was to use a suitable instrument, so here I have a resampled koto, and so that is using RC20, OTT, and some multiband dynamics. The next thing I did was write some chords for them in B major. And as you can hear, none of the chords are actually quantized exactly, and this gives them a little strum and a little more human feel. Then with the same chords, I used the initial patch on Diva, and again added another layer with Omnisphere. Now my personal favorite addition is this saw wave pluck. So this is just a saw wave with RC20 on it, and the combination of the slower pluck along with these accented notes is what really sets the tone for this idea. And this is supplemented by another resampled one shot. So let's listen to all our melodics at once. This bassline is a resampled Kaytranada bassline with a bunch of my effects on it. And the most important thing is that you can see a lot of different accented notes. Which highly vary between 3 separate octaves, and although these subtle tones are not immediately noticeable, they make a very large impression on the listener. So let's listen to all our melodics and our bassline together. That's it for the second installment in this series. Let me know what you guys think. And here's the full track with a little surprise vocal idea from Noah Smith.